Hey, how's it going? My name is Reece. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what you need to do when you sign your first SMMA client. Now, if you're watching this, you probably have either just signed your first client or you're about to, in which either case, congratulations, you're on the right path. So what I want to do is just get straight into this video because I know that your time is valuable and I just want to jump straight into the value. In case you don't know who I am, I'll do a little introduction properly at the end, but my name is Reece. I own HPA Media, which is a paid advertising agency for women's fashion brands. We're doing multiple six figures right now, and I make these videos to give you value. So let's go ahead and jump into this part, which is really about onboarding. It's really the kickoff of the onboarding. And I'll go through a couple things that you probably already know about, and then I'll get into some more interesting things that you may not be aware of already. So the first thing we should, most of us already know about this, is getting the invoice on the call. So essentially what's going to happen is you're going to have your sales call, whatever you call it. You're going to extend the invitation. You're going to see that they are a good fit for you guys to work together. You're going to extend the invitation for you guys to work together. So you're going to say, hey, so where do you want to go from here? And they're going to say, yeah, well, we want to get started. And you're going to be like, wow, great. That's exciting. First thing, before we even get to the invoice, just be excited about it. Don't be afraid of showing them that you're excited. At the end of the day, there's a difference between being excited of you just making money versus you being excited the opportunity to actually get your first client. So if they say yeah, just be like, that's great, man. That's incredible. I'm looking forward to kicking this off. And then you can go ahead and you can mention the invoice part. But chances are, if you're watching this video, you probably already have the invoice paid. Maybe, maybe not. But if you don't, get the invoice paid and just be excited about it. Just be like, when they say yeah, they're in, just be like, amazing, that's so exciting. I'm really looking forward to working with you. So look, let's go ahead, we get the invoice sorted. I'll tell you a little bit about the onboarding process, and then you can go ahead and lay out the expectation of what the onboarding process is going to look like. So anyway, you get the invoice paid. Invoice is paid on the call. And then what I do is I get them added to Slack immediately. The reason for this is you want to set the expectation right away that from there onwards you'll be communicating on Slack or whichever channel that you use, and that's it. If you have the sales call, and this used to happen to me a couple times, I would have the sales call, they would say, yeah, I'm on board, and then what I would do is I would send them an email with the onboarding that goes over the onboarding, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that email in a second, but I would send them that email. But the only place that I have to speak with them at that point is email. They're not on Slack yet. So even now I still send the onboarding email via email, I have them on Slack. So then if any issues pop up along the time that they're actually going through the onboarding process, if there's any issues, they can message me on Slack as opposed to messaging me on whichever platform they decide, which in most cases would be email. So if you use Slack like ourselves, get them added to Slack right away. I do this on the call. When they say, yeah, I'm on board, and they're going ahead and they're typing up their card details or, whatever, they're doing that bit. Don't just sit there in silence like this, oh, cool, yeah, let me know when it's in. Don't do that. Just be like, okay, cool. Well, look, while you go ahead and get that sorted, I'm going to go ahead and get you added to Slack. Also, just prepare the onboarding email, but let me know if there's any issues. And then you'll be there, you'll be copying the template for the onboarding email, and then you'll be setting up the channel on Slack, and then you wait for the invoice to be paid. Once the invoice is paid, you say, amazing, look, really, really glad that we can get to work each other. What I want to do is I want to kick this off immediately to start getting you results as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you added to Slack right now, and then after that, we're going to get you onboarded. Now, the way the onboarding works is blah, 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 and then you go into that. But you set the expectation right away that you'll be speaking with Slack from there onwards. I've teased it a little bit, but let me talk about the onboarding email. So essentially what's going to happen after the call, you say you get them added to Slack on the call, and then you say to them, all right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to send over the onboarding email. You can send this on the call after. It doesn't matter. Just send the onboarding email. The onboarding email should contain information about the entire process of how the actual onboarding works. So for example, the email should contain a link to your onboarding video series if you have. Let's say you have however you're doing your onboarding, let's say you've got a portal of videos or just a YouTube series, a playlist or whatever it is, and they just go and follow it through. Video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4. Most people have this on ClickFunnels. I use Go High Level, and I use the membership in Go High Level, so I send them a login for that. But other people do it in different ways. You could use a Google Drive, and you could send them over a Google Drive folder. You could use what most people do, which is use Go High Level or use ClickFunnels and then get them added there. It doesn't really matter, but send them over your onboarding process, and this should be automated via use of video series, video 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should be your onboarding process. You actually send them the link to the onboarding process in this email. In that email, there is also a link to the onboarding form, a link to the schedule kickoff call, and anything else that's included on the onboarding process. So the general layout that our onboarding email may look like, for example, hi name, so excited to see that you have decided to join us in achieving X result, whatever that is. We want to get you onboarded right away so we can start getting you results as soon as possible. So please pay attention to this email, follow that through step by step so we can get you onboarded as soon as possible. Firstly, it's going to say contracts are we're going to say that we're going to send over the contract in a second email. I personally use PandaDoc. There is PandaDoc, which is an online platform that you can use to send contracts. Some people also use HelloSign and different things like that. But I use PandaDoc.com. They've got a free version as well, so you can check that out. In my onboarding email, I say that we will send you a contract in another email, which will come from PandaDoc. So they will have the contract. I also ask them to fill out the onboarding form. I'll ask them to make sure that they join Slack. I actually do this on the call, but I send it in the email anyway. So a little notification, just tell them, make sure that you join Slack, and if there's any other team members, message us on Slack the email addresses that we need to send the invitations to. And then, I don't know if I mentioned, but the link to book in a kickoff call, and then anything else that you've got in your onboarding process, you can mention. You can mention either there on the email, or you can mention alongside your onboarding process while they're following the videos. The email is super, super important, and you want to get that sent out right away. And this ties into the things that I'm giving a couple of things here that I want you to keep in mind. Before I go through this, I want you to just note how simple and easy this is. It's not supposed to be complicated. It's not supposed to be super difficult. It is actually supposed to be quite easy. All right, and the reason it's supposed to be easy is because simplicity scales, and we don't want them to be all confused. The idea of them working with an agency is to minimize the confusion, so we want it to be as simple as possible. So things to keep in mind. The first one here is that you want to limit buyer's remorse by giving them something as early as possible. If you're unfamiliar with the term, buyer's remorse is basically when you pay for something and then you suddenly start thinking, oh, did I make the right decision? Did I make a mistake here? Something like that. What's common in the agency space in terms of buyer's remorse is that a client would sign up for the agency. The agency ends up taking a long time to get them onboarded or to get the ads up or whatever it is that's going on, to get them even added to Slack. And what starts happening in the client's mind is like, oh, did they scam me? What's going on? Why is it taking so long to get the ads up? So you want to make this as sufficient as possible. By the way, if you're watching this and you don't have a media buyer or fulfillment contractor in place already, you need to stop watching this video and go and do that first. Because you should already have a fulfillment contractor in place so you can actually start getting results ASAP. If you are waiting to get your client to then go and hire someone to fulfill the work, it's the wrong way to go about it, because then you'll sign the client and this buyer's remorse is going to come about because they're going to be waiting many, many days while you go and hire someone to fulfill the work. It's not the right way to do this, at least in my experience. Make sure that you have your fulfillment contractor on board, and then limit the buyer's remorse by giving them something as early as possible. This could be something simple. Your onboarding process is something. It's the something. It could be in the onboarding process. Usually you'll go and get them to fill out the onboarding form or to get you connected to the ads manager. You just want to basically make it seem like things are moving, and things are moving. Things are moving from the onboarding video series. Things are happening. But you really want to push on this even more as much as you can. Just make sure that you give them something as early as possible. Whether this is a resource, so you can give them a free PDF or a swipe file for creatives that you need for your ads or something along those lines. You give that to them within the onboarding process, so they're getting something, getting a little gift kind of for signing up. And then as it says there, results, you want to try and get them results as early as possible. So let's just say you've got an email marketing agency. Start questioning and asking, what flows or campaigns can you get up immediately? If you already know what flows they're doing, that the new client, let's just say they've got a couple flows that aren't very good and you want to go and replace those, how can you get that up as soon as possible? Or what easy wins can you do immediately just to get some results in the door? If you're a paid advertising agency, maybe look at doing some retargeting. You can get some really simple retargeting ads up within a day, knowing very little about the business, Especially with retargeting, when people have already made their way through the funnel and been like at bottom of funnel where they're, like cart abandonment, checkout abandonment, that type of thing. If somebody has reached that stage of the funnel, you don't need too much to convert them into buying. So in that case, you can set up a really easy retargeting ad and just get those people that are like really, really warm. You can get the results from them like right away. So just try and look out for ways that you can really get results as early as possible. And those are two ways that you could do it depending on, what you're offering. Excuse me. The second is connecting with them personally immediately. Now, this should already be done on the sales call, but make sure that you start the relationship by actually building a personal relationship with the people that you're working with. I made the mistake many, many times of being really like trying to be too professional. And then I came to find out, both being a client myself and obviously having my agency, that people don't really want things too professional. Obviously, it depends at what level we're talking about here. But if you're working with brands who are doing 30, 50, 60, 100K a month to 200K a month, like, you don't need to speak perfect English. You don't need to be like super suit and tie professional. Like, most of the time they don't want that. And I learned that. I'll give you a little analogy. We worked with a law firm at one point. It was with lawyers. It wasn't actually for their law firm, but it was with lawyers. They were doing like an e-product, an info product, that type of thing. But anyway, I kind of, because they were lawyers, I came into this thinking that they were going to be super like strict and like, to the line and etc. So I kind of gave the same energy, but then I realized like early on, I think it was even on our kickoff call or something along those lines, where they just started swearing and they were just talking really candidly or whatever. And then I realized that I could open up with them. And when I did that, we created more of a personal relationship. And we all know the saying of you can't fire a friend. But at the end of the day, you just want to create this personal relationship with them. You actually want to share some of your personal life. So when you're on a call, mention your family, mention a sports event that you recently went to, and of course, mention work that you're doing with other clients. So to give some, you don't want to be awkward. So to give you some examples here, it's Tuesday right now. Let's just say on the weekend you went out with the family or there was a birthday. When you're on the call, and at the beginning of the call, and you're like, oh yeah, how was your weekend? And you're like, yeah, it was nice. Like, be exciting about it. Like, yeah, we went out with the family. We had a massive birthday party or a wedding to attend or whatever it is. And then if it is a wedding of a family member, mention the family. Because if you say, oh yeah, I was at my brother's wedding or I was at my sister's birthday or something like that, then it creates relation points for them. They can go and start talking about their siblings. They can talk about their family, things they did on the weekend, birthday parties they went to, vacations that they really recently went to, sports events that they are interested in, these type of things. And it just creates, it's just easy ways to create a personal connection. So just look for those as much as possible. In terms of mentioning other clients, when you get on a call, don't make a big deal about it. Don't be like, if it's a sales call, don't make a big deal about the fact that you've got loads of clients, because then it comes across a little bit strange as well. But just say to them, yeah, we're doing phenomenal right now. We've got a client that is getting incredible results, doing something that, is quite interesting. So, we're learning a lot from the experience, getting incredible results from them, and some stuff that hopefully I'll be able to share with you very soon. Stuff like that works perfectly well. Mentioning that you're getting good results, mentioning a client was recently in a big publication, or mentioning in the news and that you're very excited about that, or even just say to them, I just got a call with another client and they're having a baby, like, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You're just creating personality and creating that personal connection with them as much as you can and as early as possible. And the last thing here is just being as efficient as possible. Now, show them right off the bat that you are a true leader and you are capable of finding solutions to problems. the way that you're going to do this is by having a onboarding system in place that's efficient and makes sense, and a good system. At the end of the day, if you've got good systems, they're going to come in and they're going to feel very confident in your ability to provide them results, because they know that you've already got the systems in place that have onboarded them and will start getting the results and kicking off the fulfillment journey. So as I said here, have a strong onboarding system in place and make sure that you follow this video to be as efficient as possible in kicking things off with your client. And ideally, if you already have a client on board, you should already have most of these things in place. But if you don't, work on these ASAP. As I said before, make sure that you've got a fulfillment contractor on board. If you don't, and you're watching this video first, in my opinion, and from my experience in working with myself and my clients, you're doing this the wrong way around. Make sure that you can fulfill the service delivery before you start trying to, actually sign clients. Like you can book in sales calls and stuff, but you got to tell clients, before you sign them, before you get the contract signed or the invoice paid, you've got to make sure that you can fulfill on that service. If you can't fulfill on the offer that you're offering, then you shouldn't be offering it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, if you enjoyed this video, great. If you have any questions, let me know down below. Again, as a little introduction, my name is Reece. I'm the founder of HPA Media, which is a paid advertising agency for women's fashion brands. I also operate a one-on-one mentorship program for new and existing agency owners who would like to scale to and above £15,000 a month by booking consistent sales meetings and also automating their processes and fulfillment. If you are looking for one-on-one help in growing, starting, growing, or scaling your agency, go down to the description below and click the link to the demo video, to watch a 25-minute demo video about the one-on-one mentorship and how it can actually help you. If you would like to discuss with me personally, if I can help you and if we're in a good position to work together, reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, or just book a call down below. We can have a really casual chat, especially if you came from YouTube. Tell me you came from YouTube. I love you guys. And we will speak soon. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments, let me know down below. Thank you for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.